I do give a shit who wins the next election. And outdated racial pandering is one reason Democrats lose elections. When Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi put on kente cloth, I don't think it earned them one vote for their powerful emotional ties to Ghana. Here in California, we're now segregating kidnapping. Really, California doesn't just have Amber Alerts for missing children. We have Ebony Alerts for black children and Feather Alerts for Native American kids. What is that? We look for them by listening on the ground?
Bill Maher is once again taking aim at what's left of the woke movement, and he's doing it with sharp humor. Just when you think wokeness is fading away, Maher reminds us it's still hanging around and he's not letting it slide. In his latest bit, he calls out the usual tricks of the woke playbook and breaks them down with comedy that also delivers real truth. It's classic Maher, direct, witty, and unafraid to say what others won't. Love him or not, his take keeps the conversation alive, and he's showing once again why people keep tuning in.
Who's changed? It's the left, who is now made up of a small contingent who've gone mental and a large contingent who refuse to call them out for it. But I will. That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days. Which shows just how much liberals have their head up their ass, because if they really thought about it, they would have made me a hero on their media.
It's true Bill Maher has unexpectedly become a sort of folk hero for conservatives and classical liberals. Not because he's switched sides, but because he's one of the few willing to call out the nonsense within his own camp. While many left-leaning comedians avoid criticizing woke culture, Maher dives right in, cutting through it with sharp humor and blunt honesty. But here's the thing pointing out the flaws. In wokeness shouldn't be considered groundbreaking. The movement has twisted reality into something messy and hard to recognize. Anyone paying attention, no matter their politics, should see the problem. Yet, in today's world of cancel culture, even stating the obvious feels like an act of rebellion.
It's not my fault that the party of FDR and JFK is turning into the party of LOL and WTF.
It's sad to see how far the Democratic Party has fallen. This was once the party of Franklin D. Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy leaders who cared about unity, economic growth, strong borders, and a proud American identity. But today's left looks very different. Instead of focusing on working families and real issues, they're wrapped up in identity politics, chasing social approval, and pushing fringe ideas that leave everyday Americans behind. The clearest proof is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. walking away. The Kennedy name has defined Democrats for decades. Yet even he decided the party no longer represents the America his family once fought for. He crossed over to the Republicans, a move that says it all. When a Kennedy abandons ship, you know, something is seriously wrong.
Members of Congress tweeting things like cancel rent, cancel mortgage, and no more policing or incarceration, declaring that capitalism is slavery, canceling Lincoln and Dr. Seuss, teaching children they're oppressors and math is racist, making Mr. Potato Head gender neutral, and now an emoji for pregnant men. Real, I'm not making it up.
For centuries, everyone knew what a woman was: biology, reality, plain common sense. But the modern left turned it into a political game, pushing ideology over truth. Now, biological men are competing in women's sports, undoing years of progress for female athletes. It doesn't stop there. We're told men can get pregnant, give birth, even breastfeed all, because feelings are placed above facts. This isn't compassion, it's confusion. And it's not just about gendered, it's an attack on reality itself.
Democrats have become like a royal family that, because of so much, has unfortunately had children who are and the same thing can happen to ideas if they are also conceived in an atmosphere of intellectual test. Maybe take the clothespins off your noses and actually converse with the other half of the country. Stop screaming at people to get with the program and instead make a program worth getting with.
The left's obsession with identity. Politics isn't strategy, it's self-destruction. If they stay on this path, 2028 will slip right through their fingers. We've seen it already. Last year, they put virtue signaling above real leadership, and voters showed them the door. But instead of learning, they've doubled down chasing approval from Twitter mobs and activist elites while ignoring the issues that actually matter: the economy, national security, and basic freedoms. What used to be a political party has turned into a stage for performance art. While they hand out gold stars to themselves for being on the right side of history, the rest of America has moved on, leaving them behind in their own political circus.
Look, even if you like identity politics, this kind of thing is antiquated. From 2010 to 2020, the number of people identifying as multiracial in America went up 276%. 1 in 5 newlyweds now are in an interracial marriage, and that number goes up to 100% in ads for Subaru. You couldn't do a remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner today because almost 100% of Americans approve of interracial marriage, especially with rich in-laws. And 95% of white women would leave their husband to marry Idris Elba.
Is right identity politics is a dead end. America today is a true melting pot, with people of every race and background living, working, and building together. Most Americans understand that skin color doesn't define character, worth, or future, it's just skin. But the left refuses to let go of old racial battles. Acting like it's still the 1960s, they frame every issue as oppression versus privilege, while ignoring the reality that millions thrive together every day. In a country this diverse, their obsession with race isn't progressed, it's a political circus. And it's holding us back.
Humans, we are obsessed with race, and that obsession can really hinder people's aspirations. Actress Raven-Symoné agrees. She told Oprah, "I'm tired of being labeled. I'm not an African American. I'm an American." She says, "I don't know what country in Africa I'm from. My roots are in Louisiana." And you don't have to agree with that, but it's a point of view a lot of people have. It should be respected. Morgan Freeman says the way to finish off racism is stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. There's even a movement now to ban racial questions on the census, and many of its leaders are people of color, like Professor Sheena Mason, who says to undo racism, we have to undo our belief in race.
Step 1 is simple. Stop making race the headline of our identity and start seeing ourselves as one people. That doesn't mean ignoring differences, means appreciating them without letting them divide us. We can celebrate culture without turning it into a weapon. And we can value diversity without building fences. Real unity isn't about everyone looking or thinking the same. It's about recognizing that no matter our background, we share the same humanity, the same hopes, and the same right to freedom. The faster we focus on what connects us, instead of what separates us, the stronger and more resilient this country will be.
Democrats should move on from identity politics. It's not working. It's not working for them or for us. Democrats are hemorrhaging the very voters they think they're pandering to. The Financial Times writes, Democrats are going backwards faster with voters of color than any other demographic, and suggests the reason is that a less racially divided America is an America where people vote more based on their beliefs than their identity. Exactly. Far-left liberals are living in an old paradigm. Americans don't fit into neat little boxes anymore. Who has the #1 country song right now? Beyonce.
Racial stereotypes are breaking down. In modern America, but Democrats still cling to old narratives like they're priceless antiques. As Ma says, this obsession with past grievances isn't just toned to fit political self-sabotage. While Americans are busy building friendships, businesses, and communities across racial lines, Democrats keep forcing every issue through the lens of identity politics. Maybe that worked decades ago, but today it feels tired, out of touch, and exhausting. Donald Trump recognized this better than anyone in recent memory. He saw how divisive identity politics had become and chose to focus instead on issues that mattered to everyday Americans. That's a big reason he won, because he spoke to people as citizens, not as demographic boxers.
Music award, and he's black and gay, and a brand ambassador for the waspiest purse in America, Coach. The biggest new star in country is Jelly Roll, who was a drug dealer, then a prisoner, then a rapper, and then a face-tatted country music star. Not to mention a giant middle finger to the idea of staying in your own lane. No. In America now, you're allowed to be many things all at once, and that's a good thing, even when it's really stupid.
America shines because of freedom, the right to speak, believe, and live as you choose, with equal opportunity for all. But today's left has traded that promise for cancel culture. They claim tolerance, yet silence anyone who dares to disagree. It's no longer about equality, it's about enforcing one ideology. And when voices are silenced, a nation doesn't just lose freedom, it loses its soul.
Choppy, complicated, and contradictory. 2/3 of Republican voters support weed legalization. And 41% of Democrats own or live with someone who owns a gun. Miss Marvel is Pakistani, and the winner of the last 2 NBA dunk contests is white. The new Captain America is black, and Spider-Man is black and Puerto Rican, just like AI George Washington. Latinos make up half of the Border Patrol, and the name of the coolest black dude on the planet is Lenny Kravitz.
America is changing fast, and the Democrats need to evolve or risk fading into irrelevance. They're still clinging to ideas that worked years ago but now feel stale and out of touch. Meanwhile, voters have moved on. Even Trump, after losing, adjusted his strategy and came back stronger. That's what Democrats must do: adapt, drop outdated talking points, and reconnect with everyday Americans. Otherwise, they'll be left behind while others shape the future. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.